Good morning, Cowboy Jim here. Just got back from Coutts, Alberta, border crossing and whatnot, and I really have have missed not sitting in front of this screen looking at myself and talking to myself. I guess is really what it amounts to, and trying to keep it absolutely as honest and as clean. That's a challenge, children, for me. I've been working on construction for too long, perhaps, but I do take a shot at it. I Saturday morning, actually, I guess it really started Friday, this past Friday, and I thought, I wonder really what's going on down at Coutts, and I thought, well, turn on the news, and I thought that's a dumb thing to do, because you just get somebody else's opinion of what's happening, and most news media places, they have an agenda, and they're going to express that agenda. Well, they're going to use subtle ways of doing it. There's no doubt, like they don't want you to know really where they're taking you, because you might just rebel a little and, oh geez, you might protest. Oh, I wanted to see what an average Canadian looked like who was so markedly disenchanted with the overreach of the government that they actually protested. And I found out. I mean, I just found out. It wasn't that difficult. So I think it was Friday I decided to go. So Saturday morning I got up at 6 o'clock and I thought, I'm going back to bed. Dear me, I'm tired. And so I did, and I didn't leave Fort Mac until 10 o'clock Saturday morning, and got fueled up and all those things. And gee, I took enough food for about, oh, the way I eat, probably about 6 days, and I only got to cook one meal in my little hot lunchbox. You plug it in. It's the same. It's not the same one. I could never eat out of that one that abuser put that drug stuff in my lunchbox, and affected terrible changes in my heart and soul and spirit. Not really my heart, soul, and spirit, but in my body, and couldn't function at all, eating the drugs that fatherless child was putting in my food. But anyways, I headed south, and I thought, boy, weather looks good. Roads should be clear. And thankfully, they were pretty clear. There were a few places coming out of Fort Mac down there about 100 miles or so, and I'm telling you, there were a few vehicles in the ditch, and but anyways, so I want to approach this Coutts thing very thoughtfully, and I don't want to do an overreach on it. I don't want an overview. I want to dissect it a little, because that's why I was going. I was going to, well, I'm also bored to tears, and which is my own fault, but nonetheless, geez, I still haven't gotten back to work. I don't know. I wonder if I've been blacklisted or something. Jeez, I just, jeez, who knows? Anyways, anyways, in Coutts, I had the privilege, or the honor really, of meeting some Canadians, truckers, but children, there were more regular people there than there were truckers. As I was approaching Coutts, I heard on the news that the government had shut down the Coutts border crossing, and the reason they'd shut it down is no one was getting through anyways, and it turns out that the people who were protesting, are protesting, were the kindest, most considerate people that I probably ever met. It was almost sickening. I understand now, like the protesters acted like how I am. I mean, I try to go through life and I try not to irritate people too much. And I try to be as polite as I was taught as a child, and I try to be as considerate as I possibly can, and I try to endear myself to people so that they might have occasion to see what it means for a man who has made a qualitative choice and has decided to believe in a creator, something bigger than themselves, than myself. And I ran into 1,015, 2,000, 3,000. Oh, I couldn't have been that high, but it was high. A lot of people, and it was tiring. You couldn't walk. You couldn't even get out of your truck without somebody coming up to the window of the truck and asking how you doing, asking where are you sleeping tonight? Are you staying? How long are you going to be here? Do you need anything? It was like you walked into a motel, hotel, whatever they're called, to rent a room, and the person behind the counter makes sure that you know every amenity that is available to you, that your right of entry due to paying for the room qualifies you to participate in different, same thing, different down there at Coutts with all those Canadians who were there purposefully, peacefully. Yeah, there was a group, I guess it was Sunday night. I'd been asleep for a while, and in my truck, I figured out how to get into the back seat of my truck without too much difficulty, and it was kind of a novel idea. But anyways, we'll leave that for another story that probably won't ever see the light of day. And there were a bunch of guys there. They weren't truckers. I don't think they were truckers. If they were, they got tagged for arms, for guns and whatnot, and the RCMP made several arrests, maybe 10 or something, and so it was a pretty small group within the giant group, and a lot of RCMP lights going on, and oh, you have no idea how many police there were there, and I mean, just the truckers had blocked the road off on the border side of the truckers, and we're about 4 or 5 miles, a couple of miles, I guess, maybe, perhaps not even that far from the border itself. And so the police had the road blocked off, and the truckers and the farmers and the ranchers, they had the road blocked off, and geez, it was exciting, really exciting. But anyways, the reason the RCMP caught those guys with their guns, some illegal, was because of a tip, and it wasn't a thank you for the good meal. It was some Canadian who was smart enough to know that we had a responsibility down there. I include myself only because I went there. I had no responsibility other than to act as a Canadian, polite, considerate, kind. And I guess the highlight of it, I better just make sure I'm not screwing up my time. Yep, we're good. Oh, goddamn. Sunday morning, not a beer in sight. Not an alcoholic beverage anywhere that you could see. Not one. It was like you went to a Christian camp meeting to hear various speakers, and they were good speakers. They even let me talk for a bit, which was kind of a pleasure. It was an honor, actually. And but I am a trucker, but unemployed. Gee whiz. Gee whiz. Golly. Not funny, children. So I'm so used to saying we. You know, there's no we here. And I went to church first time. Well, I think I went to church a year ago, but then it's been about 10 or 15 years. But you had a hard time not going to church. I mean, little kids were going around handing out business cards, and on the cards, it was telling you what time the various church services would start, and I went down to see if I could find a hot coffee. I kind of like Tim Hortons double when they're really cold out of the fridge, but I found where everyone was meeting, and it was rather silly of me to think that I needed to take so much food. I mean, I don't eat that much anyways, but I got to eat one of my own meals, and that's all. I mean, there were food. There was food. They had cooks, volunteer truckers, and probably they'd never ever been in a truck, but nonetheless they may well have been. But Canadian people, families, children, and they cooked for everyone, and so I just enjoyed myself. I want to make mention in Airdrie, Alberta. If you're listening to this beyond Alberta's borders, you won't understand the significance of this. Paul's Pizza in Airdrie. He talked it over with his staff, and they came in real early on Friday or on Saturday morning to their pizza place in Airdrie, Alberta, and they put together 200 pizzas. And if you're from Airdrie, you know Paul's Pizza is probably the best that you'll run across. It's the best I found in Alberta, and then as soon as the pizzas were ready, 200 of them. I don't know how much that must have cost Paul, but it must have been an awful lot. And of course, that's not his name. Paul was a wonderful gentleman 25 years ago when I first started going to that Paul's Pizza and Steakhouse and so on. Fantastic. Anyways, this is important. Perhaps not to you, But an average Canadian business owner took and made 200 pizzas and trucked them down to Coutts, and they heated them up there, and it was just positively delicious. So listen, I'm going to try to keep these short and not bore you to tears, and I'm going to try to be a little bit more succinct than I am at times, and I'm going to give you as many little pictures that I can of what a day in the life of a Canadian protester. In this case, I do run truck when I have the privilege and the honor of having a job, and and I want you to know that what you hear on the news is not the truth. And if you hear there were 10 people or something charged with the offense of having guns and whatnot, that did happen. But those people do not reflect well a polite Canadian trucker. And I had said from the beginning that the whole protest would be infiltrated by people of ill repute. And I went there, so I kind of fulfilled my own prophecy. But nonetheless, that that has happened. That will happen. One thing I was looking for was someone carrying a swastika or a Confederate flag, and I had a game plan, and I was going to introduce myself and to whoever was that stupid to carry those and help them burn the flag, not the Canadian flag. I never saw one swastika. I never saw one Confederate flag. I saw Alberta's kind of flag and Canada's flag, but none of that other crap. And I was kind of glad. But I did have a game plan, and I didn't get to use it, but nonetheless I did. So God bless you, and get ready for about, I don't know how many videos this is going to lead to. I'll tell you, what an honor. What an honor to be a Canadian. I had a hard time with that for many years, but what an honor to be a Canadian who is yet free. Oh, we're not free to say what's on our mind. We're not free to express opinions that are contrary to the overriding government agenda, but we're still free. Have to look for it. God bless you. God bless you. Thank you.